G'day, guys. Oh, very shiny there if you're watching on YouTube. How you doing? Episode 3 of Alchemy, and today we're speaking about conversations, having more of them, and the importance of them. I was interviewing someone a few days ago for a book that I'm writing, my second book. It is about stories of entrepreneurs, musicians, writers who have successfully brought their genius to life. And I was interviewing this coach who was talking about, when you've got something new that you're bringing to the market, or you've got an existing product, never forget the importance of reaching out and having conversations, because so many people think, so many entrepreneurs, it's like, oh, don't have enough leads, or I can't find people to talk to. And it's because they've totally discounted the power of making new connections with people that you haven't spoken to in a while, or people that that you don't know, or people that you do know, but maybe you spoke to them last week, but for you it's like, I haven't got a reason to reach out to them, so that's not on. I want to speak about that today because last in the last episode we spoke about money stress, and quite often what you'll find is when you're having productive conversations with people, your money stress goes down because you're creating opportunities. I want to challenge everyone here today. There'll be a bit of education on this episode, but it's going to be a short one. But this is more of a wake up call. If you're someone that said, you're like, oh God, man, I've got this product, I've got this thing, and it's not making enough money yet. I still need to look for work, but I can't find the work that I want, and it's just like nothing's falling in my inbox. Or maybe you're a business owner, you're like, man, it's hard out there in online advertising. I don't have enough leads. Or maybe you're someone that needs an investor for your business. Or maybe you're just someone that's looking for your life partner. You go, God, man, it's hard out there in the dating world. Whatever your story is, conversations. Conversations is the answer. But conversations in a functional way. Conversations where, you're not just contacting people because you have a problem. I want to hit the nail on the head here. If you're lonely, if you've got like money insecurity, financial insecurity, and that is triggering you to take action, to initiate conversations with people, it's not going to go well. Okay, and I'm sharing this. I've been a victim of it. I still do it at times. I still slip in and go, oh, I'm feeling stressed about something. Bank account's a bit low. It's like that's not when you want to be initiating conversations. It's not how you actually want to train your nervous system to trigger you into action. Because let me tell you, after many years in sales, and I could only imagine what this would be like for people that have been working in sales for like 2 decades. But for me, I trained my nervous system to only spur me into action when things got really bad financially. So if things are good, I was never as focused on sales calls. I'd still do it. I still had a script, and I'd still make sales, but my nervous system was trained to go into like full on, I'm going to make this happen mode when the pinch was on. Because what had happened, there was a problem. It would set me off. I'd feel some pain, and when I'd make the sale and the surplus of cash eradicated the bills and whatever, it would make me feel this pleasure. And that had trained my nervous system. It's like, only really go for things in your conversations when, shit's really bad. And this is why, you want to be mindful about what's driving your conversations here. So we're going to talk about two things very quickly that'll help you not only just have better conversations, guys. I want you to have conversations where, people are actually engaged. They're listening to you. They want to listen to you. They find what you have to say interesting. They value your time. And then there's momentum after that. There's momentum. You always want your conversations to have momentum. They're not always going to have momentum, but if you're in more conversations that have momentum, where there's things rippling out afterwards, okay, as opposed to the conversations that just die and there's nothing, all right, you're going in a decent direction. Your life's going to get better. So let's break this down. There's two. I've worked this out in sales, and being in sales, training people with sales, working with business owners, or speaking to staff members, getting their staff to sell, or needing to hire new people. I've seen this. There's only two types of conversations that you can have in life. Okay, this is a premise that I go off. Um, there's a conversation that you can have when you have a problem that you want help solving, and then there's a conversation you can have when you want to create something. When you have conversations, just because you're in stress mode, just because you're feeling triggered about something, money, or you're lonely, or whatever it is, you can still make the money, you can still get the relationship and feel the relief. But what happens afterwards is those kind of relationships, those kind of bonds promote toxic behavior. Let me break this down. I'll give you a few examples. These are things that I've experienced and I've created in my own life. You get a job because you need money. You get the job, you feel the relief. The job, the boss, everyone is on a pedestal. You look up to them now because they've just helped you get away from a stress in your body. Down the line, your psychology goes, I'm tired of looking up to these people. I don't want them up there anymore. And I'm going to find ways to tear them down. So, this is where we start to feel resentful. We start to look for reasons to blame our bosses, our other people in our team. We start to check out and go, I don't really think this is for me anymore. It's actually it's not our faults. Like, it's not because we're not committed. It's because the structure is actually creating that. Okay. So every time you go, oh, I'm lazy and I'm not as committed as I should be to my job, you set yourself up to experience that from the start. Okay. This is what I experienced in all of my sales jobs. I only got into sales because I had a money problem. And the minute the money problem went away, I would always find a way to leave. Okay. I never had a sales job past a year. Never. Okay. Because I'd get the hit of cash and then I would find a way to sabotage the relationship with the boss. That's why I became an independent closer. That's why I called my company the Independent Closers, right? Um, you look for ways to destroy what you feel like you have to conserve. I want you to write that down. Whenever you're in conservation mode, because something that person has pulled you out of a hole, you're in a tight spot. You have them up there. Eventually, you will look to tear them down. That's my experience of it, okay? Because you can't have people on pedestals for too long. Eventually, it's like, God, I'm sick of looking up to people. I need a sense of my own power. So you'll find ways to do it. Um, you can experience this in so many other ways, but that's essentially the crux of it. And it's why lots of people don't want to work a 9 to 5 role anymore. Okay. They're starting to become aware, well, I don't want to be in an environment where I'm putting people up on pedestals. And again, there's nothing wrong with going to work and having a 9 to 5 role. There's nothing wrong with it. You can do that functionally, but when it's about solving problems for yourself, you're always going to set up that dynamic. Okay. So that conversation, we don't want to start conversations with that in mind. There's another conversation that we can have as I quickly check. I got a meeting in 10, still got time. There's another conversation we can have. And this is the creative conversation. This isn't a conversation about being an artist or painting something or playing music. You can have a creative conversation to create something in those mediums, but it's not just solely about that. A creative conversation is essentially this. You're approaching the conversation because you're focused on creating something, bringing something to life, rather than I have a problem that I'm stressed about. You're moving towards something instead of away from something. In fact, more importantly, it's not even just moving towards something. It's you're working with tension between where you are and what you're wanting to create. So you're actually using where you are as a bit of a motivator because there's space there. But the way you want to be thinking about this is you're not being driven by emotion only here. You're actually being driven by the structure itself. You know there's something you want, you know where you are. And naturally, when you're aware of that space, this is when you start to communicate, converse, and see opportunities to help you create what you're going for. Okay. This is just a principle of focus. Okay. If you think about when you've decided to get the classic example that you hear at motivational seminars. I want a red car. I want a red car, red Toyota. What do you see the next day? I see red Toyotas everywhere. They're always there, but you only started to see it because you were focused on it. And it works the same way when you communicate, when you're going to jobs or you're meeting clients. If you're focused on delivering a particular vision, a result for a client after they buy the product or the service, value to a company and to a boss, okay, as I have some water. If you're focused on that, that's what you're going to start communicating towards. But if you're in the problem, you're going to communicate about yourself the whole time. Okay. And you can still get success over here with the problem. But as I said, the toxic behavior comes afterwards. It's a byproduct of it. When you're focused on the creative vision, you will always have momentum. Have you ever had those meetings where, it's a good meeting, it's easy, you sign the client up, you get the job or whatever, and it's just flowing. You and the boss have a great relationship. And then it's just like you just want to add more value. You just can't help it. You ever experienced that? It's so powerful. I experienced this in my sales agency. I had some clients that I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to continue giving more to them. It was bad because there was some things that, some clients I'd be flying into their office with them with their Christmas parties with their team, and it was fine. It's because I loved what I was bringing. I loved what my agency was doing, so it was necessary. And there were just other clients where, at the start it was good, and then afterwards it was like, oh God, I need to get rid of it. This is a classic example. If you set the relationship up because you've got a problem, you're doomed. Okay, you're doomed. But if you're setting it up because you genuinely want to create something, there's something there that you want to bring to life, powerful, very, very powerful place to start. So I'm not getting into like the how of the conversations today. I just want to make you aware of this. I just want to make you aware of this. You would have experienced this already in your life. And if you're in a place now where you're like, I need to make some things happen for my business. So I'm looking to get a new job, or I'm looking for some investors. I'm looking for some collaborations. Just remember this conversation that we had today, because if you're in the vision of it, and that's what's initiating your conversations, you'll find that you'll only see people that will listen, that will be engaged, and that there will be momentum. You won't always get your way. Okay. This is the thing. It's not always going to be a yes. All right. And maybe that's another episode. It's not always going to be a yes, but more times you'll find that when you're in a creative orientation, you'll just have a habit of picking out people who are magically open to supporting you. Go, how did that happen? Right? That's literally my experience. As someone that used to make hundreds of calls to now where I might make 2 or 3 calls a week. Okay, I've got a small business. It does, at this stage, I don't need to make hundreds of calls. But like when I'm drawn and I'm in that person, there's always something there. There's always something there. There's always momentum. It's undeniable. So always follow that. Okay. But choose the vision. Be in what you want to create. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about the value, and just be open to what comes, and go and have that conversation. Make that call. It doesn't matter if it's cold. Okay. This is the last thing I want to give you. It doesn't matter if it's cold. It doesn't matter if someone's expecting it. It doesn't matter even if you don't know them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it's true for you to go do it, reach out, make that call, and you'll surprise yourself at what can happen from just a few, key conversations. All righty. Okay, guys, I really got to go because I got this next meeting now. Subscribe, like, share if this has helped, and comment if you've had experiences like this. Please do share your experiences with having creative conversations as opposed to problematic, or I shouldn't say problematic, reactive conversations, let's say. And I'd love to hear your experience. And I'll be back next time when there's more to share. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll chat soon.